Hello, and welcome to this week's presentation on the 7 steps for problem solving and decision making. Today we will discuss many aspects that revolve around setting missions, strategic goals, and time management for efficiency and productivity. Let's get started. So, what is a mission statement? A mission statement is a written declaration of an organization's core purpose and focus that normally remains unchanged over time. An organization's mission is the core around which the organization's vision, goals, plans, tactics, and activities revolve around. Properly crafted mission statements serve as filters to separate what is important from what is not. They also clearly state which markets will be served and how, and they communicate a sense of intended direction to the entire organization. A mission is different from a vision, in that the former is the cause and the latter is the effect. A mission is something to be accomplished, whereas a vision is something to be pursued for that accomplishment. A vision is an aspirational description of what an organization would like to achieve or accomplish in the midterm or long-term future. It is intended to serve as a clear guide for choosing current and future courses of action. After setting and specifying an organization's mission and vision, we need to set the organization's goals, followed by formulating the plans that will lead to reaching these goals, and finally identifying the tactics that will be followed to implement the plans. Goals are the overall objectives of a business that have been established by its management and communicated to its employees. The organizational goals of a company typically focus on its long-range intentions for operating and its overall business philosophy that can provide useful guidance for employees seeking to please their managers. Let's talk more about setting all of the company's plans and strategies and what the goals will revolve around. Goals should be SMART, which means they need to be specific and not broad. They need to be measurable so that we can measure how much of them has been achieved. They need to be attainable via the available resources. They need to be relevant to the overall mission and vision of an organization. And finally, they need to be timely, which means we need to set realistic deadlines within a timeline for achieving those goals. Now, let us go through a quick exercise about goals to examine the following goals. 1. To increase customer satisfaction by 2020. Is it SMART? If not, how would you change it to be SMART? Number 2, our goal is to develop a comprehensive staff development and training program. Is it SMART? If not, how would you change it to be SMART? Number 3, the goal of our program is to provide students with the skills they need to become tomorrow's leaders. Is it SMART? If not, how would you change it to be SMART? Now, let's talk about how utilizing these in order to fulfill an organization's strategic goals and plan. As mentioned before, they all play a very important role in the strategic management process. So what does this process entail, and how can we establish a strategic framework within which the organization will operate? Let's move on to discuss the 5 stages of the strategic management process. The strategic management process is more than just a set of rules to follow. It is a philosophical approach to business. Upper management must think strategically first, then apply that thought to a process. The strategic management process is best implemented when everyone within the business understands the strategy. This is why the first stage is strategic analysis. The 5 stages of the process are analysis, goal setting, strategy formulation, strategy implementation, and strategy monitoring. Let's start with the first one. Goal setting or strategic analysis. The purpose of that is to clarify the vision for your business. This stage consists of identifying 3 key facets. First, define both short and long-term objectives. Second, identify the process of how to accomplish your objective. Finally, customize and process for your staff. Give each person a task with which he can succeed. And keep in mind, during this process, your goals to be detailed. They need to be detailed, realistic, and match the values of your mission. Typically, the final step in this stage is to write a mission statement that succinctly communicates your goals to both your shareholders and your staff. The second stage is the strategic direction and strategy formulation. Also, analysis is a key stage because the information gained in this stage will shape the next two stages. In this stage, gather as much information and data relevant to accomplishing your vision. The focus of the analysis should be on understanding the needs of the business as a sustainable entity. Its strategic direction and identifying initiatives will help your business. Examine any external and internal issues that can affect your goals and objectives, and make sure to identify both the strengths and weaknesses of your organization as well as any threats and opportunities that may arise along the path. Now, how can you formulate your direction and how can you formulate your strategy? The first step in forming a strategy is to review the information gleaned from completing the analysis, determine what resources the business currently has that can help reach the defined goals and objectives, identify any areas of which the business must seek external resources. The issues facing the company should be prioritized by their importance to your success. And once issues are prioritized, begin formulating the strategy. Because business and economic situations are fluid, it is critical in this stage to develop alternative approaches that target each step of the plan. Now, let's move on to strategy implementation. Successful strategy implementation is critical to the success of the business venture. This is the action stage of the strategic management process. It is the overall strategy does not work with the business current structure, and new structure should be installed at the beginning of this stage. Everyone within the organization must be made clear of their responsibilities and duties and how that fits in with the overall goal. Additionally, any resources or funding for the venture must be secured at this point. Once the funding is in place and employees are ready, execute the plan. What about evaluation and control? Now, strategy evaluation and control actions include performance measurements, consistent review of internal and external issues, and making corrective actions when necessary. Any successful evaluation of the strategy begins with defining the parameters to be measured. These parameters should mirror the goals set in stage 1. Determine your progress by measuring the actual results versus the plan. Monitoring internal and external issues will also enable you to react to any substantial change in your business environment. If you determine that the strategy is not moving the company towards its goal, take corrective actions. If those actions are not successful, then repeat the strategic management process. Because internal and external issues are constantly evolving, any data gained in this stage should be retained to help with any future strategies. To summarize, we can now visualize the previous in a strategic framework within which the company operates. After formulating the mission and vision, setting the stage for internal and external audits is a crucial step. After which comes the company's setting of the long-term objectives and goals, and this is followed by generating and implementing the selected operational strategies. And finally, an overall evaluation of the progress towards the desired goals and objectives is essential for future development and improvement. Now let's stop and reflect for a moment. What do you think are the challenges you could face in setting and applying a strategic framework? Why do you consider these as challenges? What are your suggestions for facing those challenges? Before going into further details about the application of this framework, we need to discuss a crucial element to any organization's success. That is time management. So what are the most important factors to keep in mind so that you can ensure efficiency and productivity of operations within the organization? It is all about managing time effectively so that the right time is allocated to the right activity. Effective time management allows both individuals and teams to assign specific time slots to activities as per their importance. Time management refers to making the best use of time, as time is always limited. Ask yourself which activity is more important and how much time should be allocated to each activity. Know which work should be done earlier and which can be done a little later. In his book, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, Stephen Covey has introduced a useful time management matrix which facilitates time management via categorizing the tasks into categories based on the degree of urgency and importance. You simply start by listing all the tasks or activities that need to be done and draw a 4-cell matrix in which you start adding tasks from the list you have. The first quadrant in that matrix is immediate and important deadlines. These are things like handling crises, handling pressing problems, meeting deadlines, finalizing projects, and preparing for meetings. The second quadrant is for the important, however not urgent matters, including long-term development plans, such as general preparations, presentations for future plans or projects, relationship building with clients, things like recreation or retreats, and also staff empowerment. So these are important, but they are not urgent or pressing. The third quadrant is for the urgent but not important tasks. These are time-pressured distractions. They are not really important, but someone wants them now, such as interruptions, phone calls, a mail, reports, things like your boss asked you to do something that you need to finalize at this particular point in time. And the fourth quadrant is for things that are neither important nor urgent. This would include those activities that yield little value and are often used for taking a break from time-pressured and important activities. These are things like filtering out your junk mail, engaging in gossip around the office, watching mindless TV, things like time waster kind of activities that you yourself would see as time wasters. This matrix will help you prioritize tasks and will make time management a much easier thing to do at work. Now let us go through a quick exercise on how to make use of Covey's time management matrix. Examine the following tasks and decide on where you would place each of them in the matrix quadrants. Attending a last-minute meeting requested by the director to plan for next year's budget, replying to a friend request on Facebook, building relationship with colleagues at the office, submitting a project with a deadline tomorrow, contact maintenance of the printing machine. Let's also go through this application exercise. Now, why don't you go ahead and try using that matrix? You will find it under extra resources on Moodle. Do that to prioritize your to-do list in terms of urgency and importance as explained in this presentation. You can use a personal or a professional list of things to do in this exercise. Thank you and have a good week.